What is genetic entropy, and how does it impact evolution? Mutations, as you know, can damage our DNA, cause cancers, and death in an individual. When mutations build up in a population, of a species, that results in similar issues in the population. This is mutational load, or genetic load, and can result in extinction of the species. Genetic load results in lower surviving offspring at the population level. High genetic load can result in extinction of the species. The terms genetic load and genetic entropy are both referring to the same phenomenon. Genetic entropy refers to a generation-by-generation increase in slightly deleterious mutations over time. When this genetic load of slightly deleterious mutations reaches a critical point, a tipping point, where the collective effect of the totality of the deleterious mutations is fatal, enough of the individuals die, or are unable to reproduce and create viable offspring, and so, the species goes extinct. This is a problem for naturalistic mega-evolution because such evolution requires that naturalistic processes clear deleterious mutations out of the various species in the biosphere, and create ever-increasing fitness and complexity to explain the increasingly complex creatures we observe in the biosphere. Explanation: HDMM. If a mutation is highly deleterious and dominant, HDMM, the individual dies. And so, the mutation is removed from the gene pool. HDMR. If a mutation is highly deleterious and recessive, HDMR, the individual can live and reproduce. But, some of its offspring, where the mutation is expressed, die. If a mutation is highly deleterious and recessive, it can spread through a lot of the population before it is expressed in any significant number, and when that happens, all of those expressed individuals die. If that dying number is high enough, that can push the species below a critical population threshold and the species can go extinct. SDM. If the mutation is slightly deleterious, SDM, then it can be not deleterious enough for natural selection to see it. If so, that deleterious mutation stays in the individual, and can be transferred to the next generation. Since natural selection cannot see that mutation, selection will not clear that mutation out of any of the generations. So, each time a SDM is formed by a mutagen or a copy error, it is not eliminated from the gene pool, but is likely to be sent down to the next generation. This process keeps creating more and more slightly deleterious mutations in each additional generation. This process continues until the total collection of SD mutations reaches a critical threshold across the population, or a viral infection across the population, or a slight environmental change brings out the effects of the mutation, and then the population goes extinct. So, genetic entropy is a very real thing. And it matches what we see in human beings today, and in the scientific literature, and in the fossil record, where species die off in 1 to 5 million years on average. This is a problem for naturalistic mega-evolution because such evolution requires that naturalistic processes clear deleterious mutations out of the population, and create ever-increasing fitness and complexity to create the increasingly more complex creatures that we see in the biosphere. If genetic entropy is real, and the data indicates that it is real, then naturalistic mega-evolution is unlikely to be able to explain the pattern of increasingly complex creatures that we see in the biosphere. There is increasing evidence that naturalistic mega-evolution cannot create the higher-level taxa of the biosphere. Microevolution, adaptation of a species within a taxonomic family, is real. There is reasonable evidence to confirm this. However, the evidence indicates that naturalistic mega-evolution, naturalistic evolution of the entire biosphere from a single cell or cells, is false. We will go into this in more detail in future videos.